Everyone in the hospital froze as the door swung open. A massive German shepherd walked in, his fur matted with dirt and blood. But it wasn't just the dog that made everyone freeze. It was what he carried on his back. No one could believe what they were seeing. What happened next brought everyone to tears. The hospital lobby was quiet that morning, filled with a gentle hum of fluorescent lights and the distant beeping of heart monitors. Nurses strolled across the polished floor with clipboards, and a receptionist softly tapped on her keyboard. It felt like an ordinary day, calm and uneventful. Everything seemed peaceful, almost too peaceful, like the calm before a storm. Then, without warning, the automatic doors at the entrance slid open with a soft whoosh. A sudden gust of air swept through the lobby, rustling papers on the counter. Heads turned instinctively toward the doorway, expecting to see a visitor or maybe an ambulance stretcher. But it wasn't anything anyone could have imagined. A massive German shepherd stepped onto the pristine white tiles, its fur dusty and matted. The dog's chest heaved with heavy breaths, and its paws clicked against the floor as it moved forward. For a moment, everyone froze in place. The entire hospital, caught between confusion and disbelief at the sight before them. The German shepherd paused in the center of the lobby, its sharp eyes scanning the room. A hush fell over the hospital. Even the beeping monitors in the distance seemed quieter, as if the building itself was holding its breath. Then, someone gasped, pointing at the dog's back. Clinging desperately to the dog's fur was a little girl, no more than 6 years old. Her blonde hair was tangled and streaked with dirt, and blood trickled down her scraped forehead. Tiny hands gripped the dog's neck for balance while her legs hung limply along its sides, trembling with exhaustion. The dog seemed to understand the gravity of the moment. It moved slowly but with purpose, carrying the girl like a guardian angel. Doctors and nurses froze, their eyes wide with shock. No one dared to move at first, stunned by the surreal, almost cinematic scene unfolding in real life. Then chaos erupted. A nurse shouted for a stretcher, while another sprinted toward the entrance. The dog lowered itself gently to the ground, allowing the injured child to slide into waiting arms. The little girl whimpered softly, her voice raspy, but one word escaped her lips, leaving everyone stunned. Help! The emergency room burst into motion. Nurses wheeled in a stretcher and doctors swarmed around the girl, their hands moving quickly but carefully. The German shepherd stood close, its ears perked, refusing to leave her side. Its fur was matted with dust and stray with tiny spots of the girl's blood. The child's breathing was shallow and her eyelids fluttered as if fighting to stay awake. She's losing consciousness, a nurse shouted. The doctors lifted her onto the stretcher, and the dog whined, pacing alongside as they rushed her down the brightly lit corridor toward the trauma room. People in the waiting area watched in stunned silence. Some whispered prayers while others simply stared at the dog, who seemed to understand everything. It ignored the chaos around it, padding alongside the stretcher with a calm determination, as if guiding the doctors to save its little companion. In the trauma room, the team worked frantically Monitors beeped, IVs were connected, and a doctor pressed a stethoscope to the girl's chest. Meanwhile, the German Shepherd waited at the doorway, its golden brown eyes locked on the girl, silently begging the humans to do their job and save her life. Minutes felt like hours. Finally, one doctor straightened, relief washing over his face. She's stable, he said, his voice carrying across the tense room. The little girl's tiny hand twitched, reaching toward the doorway. The German Shepherd padded closer, tail wagging softly as if it knew its mission was far from over. Once the girl was stabilized, a nurse crouched beside the German Shepherd, gently running a hand over its head. Where did you come from, boy? She whispered. The dog panted softly, its eyes flicking between the girl and the medical staff as if waiting for confirmation that she was truly safe. Moments later, the automatic doors burst open and a frantic woman rushed in, her face pale and tear-streaked. That's my daughter, she cried, clutching her chest. Doctors reassured her, explaining that the girl was stable. The woman finally noticed the German Shepherd and gasped. That's the dog that saved her life. Through sobs, she told the staff what had happened. The girl had been playing near the woods when she fell, hitting her head and scraping her legs badly. Unable to get up, she had cried for help. The German Shepherd, her late grandfather's loyal dog, had appeared from nowhere. It had nudged her gently, then crouched down, letting her cling to its back. With surprising strength and determination, it carried her all the way to the nearest hospital, refusing to stop despite its own exhaustion. The staff listened in awe, realizing they were witnessing a bond in bravery unlike anything they had ever seen. As the girl rested in her hospital bed, the German Shepherd lay quietly at her feet, refusing to move. Every now and then it lifted its head, ears twitching at the sound of approaching footsteps. Alert and protective, staff and patients passing by couldn't help but pause and admire the loyal guardian. The little girl stirred, her eyes fluttering open. Buddy, she whispered weakly, reaching out a trembling hand. The dog immediately perked up and pressed its nose gently against her palm, letting out a soft whine. In that single moment, everyone in the room felt the unspoken bond between them. Doctors marveled at the dog's instinct. One of them shook his head in disbelief. If it hadn't brought her here, she wouldn't have survived another hour, he said. The staff exchanged glances, knowing they had witnessed something extraordinary. An animal's unwavering loyalty that had defied all odds to save a life. That night, the dog curled up beside the girl's bed, its steady breathing matching hers. The hospital allowed it to stay, knowing it was more than just a pet. It was a hero. Even in sleep, the German Shepherd kept one ear lifted, guarding the girl as though the world outside didn't exist. News of the miraculous rescue spread quickly through the hospital and soon reached local media. Reporters arrived, eager to capture the incredible story. Cameras clicked as the German Shepherd sat proudly beside the girl's bed, its head held high, unaware of the heroic figure it had become in the eyes of everyone watching. The little girl's mother couldn't hold back her tears as she hugged the dog tightly. "You saved my baby," she whispered, her voice breaking. The German Shepherd wagged its tail softly, leaning into her embrace as if it understood every word. The bond between them grew stronger with every heartbeat. This dog didn't just save her life. One nurse said it carried hope on its back. The story touched everyone, reminding them of the unspoken loyalty and love animals can hold for humans. By evening, the German Shepherd had become a local hero. People left flowers, treats, and heartfelt notes at the hospital entrance for the brave dog. Yet through all the attention and admiration, the loyal canine never left the girl's side, guarding her as faithfully as